Alright folks, today I want to try something I haven't done before, namely reading the comments on my most viral videos. I got the idea from a few other YouTubers who have done that, and I do try to read as many comments as I can on a daily basis, but there's just such an absurd amount, there's not much I can do to keep up. So why not actually take a look in a video. My most viewed video is the saber sparring between Lee Smith and Richard Marsden, which I uploaded on August 24th, 2015, which has almost 6 million views now. That's crazy. He hit the man with a welcome gesture. What the person's referring to is Marsden goofing off here with that pose. So there are quite a few references to that. Here's one, 958. YouTube video with no clickbait title and thumbnail. Also no 1 minute intro where a guy screams at a camera. What is this, 2006? 2006 is actually when I made my YouTube account, so that's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, it's got the word expert in the title. I'm guessing that's what brought in a lot of views. But generally, I just hate clickbait titles. I know they're effective, they're very effective, and I could get a lot more views if I did that more consistently, and I've been trying to make the titles more interesting lately, but I just do not want to go into full clickbait realm, and there will never be boobs in my thumbnails, unless it's literally about, the entire video is about boobs, which I don't see coming anytime soon. If you've got any fun ideas for that, I'll consider it. Okay, here's another one. It's hard to stay angry at those Death Star gun operators when you catch them in their moments of leisure. Yeah, I guess with that outfit, I can see that. Another Death Star one. Here's someone saying, it's so elegant, fluent, and fast-paced. I don't get why people prefer movie stuff over realistic sword action. Yes, there are sabers, not just regular swords, but you know what I mean. Well, sabers are swords too. There's a particular type of sword. Warriors from Hammerfell, of course, curved swords. And, yeah. Weebs, heavy breathing? I don't think so. No katanas in that one. They won't be impressed. Okay, the next most viewed one is my animation to explain how a firearm works. I drew this picture and animated it based on explosive diagram of a 1911. It's not as complete as it could be. There are a few parts missing, but, you know, overall, it's just there to explain the basics of how firearms operate. And I've got this little explanation here of how the ammunition actually functions. If you see a slow-mo of the projectile flying through the air, sometimes it's the entire cartridge, you know, with the casing. It's hilarious. It doesn't happen that often anymore, but I still sometimes see it. Excellent educational video. Turns out that the mechanism of a gun, at least the M1911, is simpler than I thought, much simpler than that of an internal combustion engine. Yeah, fair enough. Now I want to play Counter-Strike. Okay. Wait, so the slide moving back is purely from the force of the recoil. Whoa. In this case, yes, there are also gas-operated firearms, but in case of a 1911, it's really just the force from the recoil pushing against the slide. I mean, that's equal force going both directions, which is why, you know, people flying around in movies after they've been hit by a firearm is nonsense, because if you had enough force to literally throw somebody off their feet, then equal force would be going in the other direction and the shooter would be absorbing that, so the shooter would also be flung back, so that's why that doesn't work. Anyway, let's see. What else? So it's got just a bunch of positive comments. I know, just positive comments, how boring, right? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see, when I was small I was thinking that the cartridge is the bullet and that it's falling down how it's fired. Yeah, exactly, that's what I was talking about, when sometimes it's shown as if the entire cartridge is flying through the air, propelled by magic, I suppose. Unicorn dust or something. Why do I like listening to your voice? I don't know. I personally don't actually like my voice very much, so I don't understand. And here's the video about half sorting and the murder stroke, which has got 3.2 million views. It's also been quite a while. December 15th, 2014. Razor blade, my turn. Oh yeah, half razoring. Totally valid technique. For Honor season pass trailer, yeah, since that did show up in For Honor. I only know this because of Guts. Oh, does he do that? The real question is, does this work on a lightsaber? Yes, you just gotta lick your hands first. Why is this suddenly in my recommendations? Would have been much more useful last week. So, you went up against an armored knight last week? Well, you're still there to type, so couldn't have worked that poorly. Lightsaber again. I don't even own a sword. Why am I here? I don't know. Maybe because you need to get a life. We saw a man hit a tire for about 9 minutes. Great video, by the way. You're welcome. I'm gonna knock your tire. Interesting, but even if this move did cut the hands, I'm sure soldiers in medieval battles wouldn't care. I'm sure if they were given the choice, they'd take cut hands over being dead any day. For sure. Thanks, I will remember this next time in a sword fight. You're very welcome. You never know when that might happen. Okay, then the video about the swords in Lord of the Rings, as this was uploaded in December 2015. A bit over 2 million views. You look like a Sith Lord. Wrong franchise. This video is going to be boring. Yeah, that's what I said, because talking about fantasy swords, it always seems kind of pointless to me, but then people just really end up liking it for some reason. What's wrong with you guys? But could you throw the pommel, thus ending the Nazgul rightly? Yes. Yes, you could. By the way, notice the End Him Rightly video is not among the top 5. What would be the best weapon to defend against dozens of dwarves suddenly invading your home unannounced, uninvited, and ravenously consuming all your food? Rat poison? Or is it the kind of dwarf that has immunity to poison? In that case, you may have to be a little more creative. Maybe put ground glass shards in your food? But seriously, the best way to deal with that situation is to invite a bunch of elves into your home. No more dwarves, guaranteed. Never thought I'd be subscribing to a guy who talks about swords. Life is funny sometimes. Never thought I'd be the guy talking to so many people about swords when I started back in 2006. So, that's how it goes. Tolkien described the Uruk-hai as wielding scimitars. They went for a different design in the movies. Yeah. I don't know if it's for the better or not. I mean, they look pretty orcish. Maybe more so than scimitars would. Anyway, then again, depends on how you look at orcs. Have you considered a video talking about things that weren't weapons but everyone thinks were weapons, like scythes and nunchaku, and explaining why they would be poor weapons? I've actually had a scythe video on my to-do list for a while, but I need a scythe. I don't have any use for it. You know, in a rental apartment, yeah, I'm gonna scythe my carpet. Just because. So I occasionally look at the used for sale stuff to see if any scythes pop up, but they're expensive. Like sometimes you see one pop up that's like old and rust covered and looks really messed up, and they charge stupid amounts for it for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. Anyone else thinks he kind of sounds like Christopher Walken? I don't know where that's coming from. I've seen that a number of times, and I never know what. I sound nothing like Christopher Walken. But this is also the funny thing. Whenever somebody says, oh, he sounds like or he looks like so-and-so, and then I check who is that, what do they look like, what do they sound like, never anything even remotely close to what I sound or look like. With one exception, Sheamus, the Irish wrestler. Yeah, I can kind of see that, actually. Particularly a picture like this. Okay, you've got a point. And the video on the Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, that would be practical in real life. This one is at 1.64 million views. This was uploaded in November 2014. I'm glad I found out Assassin's Creed isn't realistic before I jumped off a building into a haystack. Yes, what could possibly go wrong, right? You're gonna be fine. You can jump off the Empire State Building as long as there's a little stack of hay at the bottom. You'll be fine. It was always funny in Assassin's Creed that they have the hidden blade, but then he keeps his sword and knife and throwing knives all visible. Well, I mean, depends on what role the assassin plays. Now, of course, the standard outfit is like the most inconspicuous thing ever, with the hood and everything. I mean, everything about that screams suspicious, but the general idea with actual assassins and shinobi and all that would be that they would wear disguises. They would wear a costume, like would dress up as a nobleman or, you know, whatever, or a craftsman or a peasant or something like that. And in that case, in case of a nobleman, yes, they would be wearing weapons, but they could still have additional hidden weapons that are not immediately obvious. So that would actually make some kind of sense. What else? I just like how people in Assassin's Creed are like, oh, that guy is dead. Who could have killed him? Could it be that guy dressed in conspicuous hooded robes, openly carrying many swords, knives, guns, and who is now climbing the side of the building? Nah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. I passed my history exams because of this game series. Your history exam is kind of lax, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, it's got some historical grounding. The best part of this video, all the armchair weapons experts trying to explain why this weapon would have totally worked, guys, instead of accepting the obvious. You should look up Occam's razor. Yeah, Occam's razor is a good principle. The short version of that is keep it simple, stupid. It's best to reduce the complexity as much as possible. So you can see that in human history. I mean, the tendency in history is often that something starts out pretty simple, then it gets more and more complex, and then it gets simplified again. Like, for example, if you look at early firearms, at first it was basically just a barrel on a stick, you know, the original handguns. Then you had the matchlock, then the wheel lock, which was extremely complicated, and you needed a key to wind it up, and there were a lot of things that could go wrong. And then they simplified the wheel lock to the flintlock, which was a lot more reliable, easier to maintain, and all of that. So quite often you get from the really excessively complicated, you try to streamline everything and simplify it and make it more reliable, because less can go wrong. Anyway, so I think I should probably leave it at that. I don't want to make the video too long. So hopefully it was somewhat entertaining. And thanks for watching. And check out the video description, by the way. There will be a bunch of relevant links, like my Facebook and Twitter page, where you can keep up to date with my video uploads if the subscription system on YouTube doesn't work as well as it should, which we know it doesn't. Or if you want to support the channel on Patreon or anything, there will be a bunch of things. So have a good one, folks.